lot of crossover, but essentially, when you're talking about the co-evolution of a plant and another being, be it mammal, whatnot, basically what you're saying is they've somehow there's a synergy in between them where they both get something from the exchange. Okay, and if we're talking about the cannabis plant, for example, if we start with hemp, which is used for rope and paper, as well as being basically the source of CBD for the CBD heavy varieties. Basically, you're talking about man benefiting from the properties of this plant, and in return, evolving because it's surviving through its benefit from man, which essentially means spreading man using it to spread it around so it can propagate its genes widely. And when you look at cannabis specifically, okay, so let's look at the exchange, all right, this coevolution. So each side is getting something from it, all right? Let's take how man benefits, all right, because we're humans. So let's see how man benefits. All right, well, if you look at hemp in and of itself, again, we can look at the history of hemp. The hemp oil, the seeds are a very valuable food source, okay? And way back 10,000 years ago, when there was pretty much the first recorded history of the use of hemp, and you see these in drawings in Central Asia, where hemp was thought to originate. People used it as a food source because of the rich oils that are contained within the hemp seeds. In addition to that, it's also a rich source of a very tough fiber used for rope and ship sails that they used way back in the day. If you add on top of that the properties of it that we use for internal ingestion now, both as sedative properties, anxiolytic properties, meaning make you less anxious, calming, the general euphoria that you get when you use cannabis products, in addition to the anti-inflammatory properties with it, man gets a lot of benefit from it. On the flip side, the plant's benefit from it is that because the use of it is so widespread and useful to man, that the cannabis plants can spread their genetics widely. That's the whole point of existence, really, of anything, and not to get too deep into the argument, but all the cannabis plant wants to do is spread its genes. That's all any plant wants to do, spread its genes. And because the cannabis plant is so useful, man is likely to spread cannabis and plant it everywhere. And history has been a very, very good example of exactly that thing happening. Cannabis exists all over the globe. So if you're talking about the coevolution, cannabis is a very, very fine example of a plant offering very, very broad use to man, and man paying it back by spreading this plant widely across the globe.